Hey guys, what's up? It is Doug. Welcome to another edition of Spooky Villages, and this is another one of my non-review videos. I wanted to just talk about a subject really that I've been wanting to talk about since last year. A few of you guys have suggested it. I've always stayed away from it though because of the touchiness of it maybe. But you know what the hell, let's get into it. So let's talk about Halloween Village pricing and more importantly, resale pricing. And I also wanted to talk about retired pieces and sort of what does that even mean, right? And so let's get right into it. So, you know, one of the things that we find out whenever we're getting to Halloween villaging, first off, is the massive amount of buildings out there. A lot of times you'll discover this, or I discovered this hobby, from walking into my Michaels and I saw the Lemax Spooky Town display. It's like, oh wow, that's really cool. And I remember I went into a vendor and I saw the Department 56 display shortly thereafter. I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. So I started to look up stuff, and then you realize, oh my gosh, there are like hundreds of buildings, and there's so many different things you can find that have been made throughout the years. And of course, the inclination is buy, right? You want to buy whatever you can. Well, a lot of times when you look online and you see sometimes the prices for these things are just outrageous, right? You're talking, I don't know, $200, $300, $400, sometimes even more than that. The important thing, that's not necessarily what the pieces actually sell for. That's just the price that somebody is asking. So, you know, the point of this video, let's make sure we don't overpay for things, or I don't want you to be ripped off, I guess. And so let's talk about retired pieces, right? What does that even mean? So with Department 56 and Lemax Spooky Town, if you go on their website, if you search for a certain piece, you'll see that year introduced and normally a year retired. So what that means, it's what it implies, right? They only built that piece for whatever years until retirement, and then that was it for it. Now, important to note, just because the piece is retired, though, doesn't mean it's rare. There's a difference, right? Again, just because something's out of production, that doesn't mean it has to command a ridiculous price, especially for some pieces that have been around forever. Like the Department 56 Halloween Water Tower. They've been making that one for a while, right? I love that piece. And it's still out, actually, so it's not retired. But if it was retired, there's still a bunch of them out there because it's been produced for a long time. So a lot of times on eBay, that's kind of what I'm focusing on here is eBay, but also on like the various Facebook groups where people buy and sell, because I do see a lot of shadiness going on in there with people and prices. The thing is, again, you just need to kind of know what you're looking for. There are certain pieces that do really command a high price, and I can just tell you as a general rule, Carnival Pieces almost always have high resale. The reason for that is, well, there's a few reasons. One, normally they're not produced very long. That is the thing with the Carnival Pieces. They're very big, especially for the Lemax Spooky Town stuff, but they're very big. They have a lot of animation. They can be prone to break down. They just aren't in production for very long, normally a year or two. In some cases, some buildings, actually, like the Octo Squeeze, I believe, was in production for even less than a year because they pulled it off shelves, is what I had heard, because of the paint going bad. So you see tremendous prices for that. But a lot of times, buildings were only out for like 1 year, those Carnival Pieces. So that puts the, you know, through the roof. The prices go through the roof. That's when you can legitimately see like a $200, $300, $400 piece, depending what it is and the rarity of it. The other thing with the Carnival is the theme, right, is very desirable. The Carnival themes are awesome. So it's just tough, right? And that's something you kind of need to maybe gauge whenever you're getting into this hobby, is figure out, you know, what kind of theme do I want to collect? Because that's going to really kind of dictate on what kind of budget you need. Now, I should also say you can always get lucky, though. Craigslist scores or like buy, sell, you know, swap meets around your house sometimes, and I have seen that. I had a massive haul actually. I got like 40 buildings or something. Maybe it was less than that, but I had like garbage bags full of figures and everything a few years back. And I got for I think $600, or some dude was just clearing out his storage shed. I mean, again, this was like thousands of dollars worth of stuff. That's actually how I got to start this channel, was I got lucky with that score, and I was like, I got to talk about some of these pieces. But so you should check there for sure. But going back to the themes though, yes, the Carnival themes, they demand a high price typically. So just know, if you're going to get into the Carnival theme, if you want the old cool retired pieces, you're probably going to have to pay a little bit more. There are other ones too though that are rare, but for the most part though, if it's not a Carnival piece, you should maybe tread a little bit lightly on what somebody's asking for it if it gets astronomical. Now, I don't want to tell somebody what their piece is actually worth. That's not the point of what I'm trying to do here, and it's why I didn't want to do a video like this. I'm not trying to say everybody who's maybe asking a certain price is ripping you off. That's not the case. But I would just say, if the price is getting up over $100 for Lemax or over $200 for Department 56, you probably should know what you're getting into. The Facebook groups that, you know, like I'm the admin, one of the administrators on the I Love Lemax Spooky Town Facebook group. There's some really good people that are on that, and the other administrators are great, and just the community in general is awesome. You could post on there about anything, right? And people will kind of tell you, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. You could go for that, or maybe it's not a, not a good price. What I'm getting at is just ask, right? And heck, if you really have a question, you can send an email to me, myspookyvillages@gmail.com, and or leave a comment below. Now, again, I'm not an item appraiser. That's not the whole point here. I just mean if you see something that's a little bit fishy, like for a retired piece with the price, you don't have to always pay the astronomical fee. Just because someone is asking it doesn't necessarily mean it's worth it. And let's go into this too when we talk about retired pieces. One of the things you can do to eventually save money in the long run, if you see a piece, especially this year or in a year, at Michael's that you really want, just buy it. Buy it there. It's so much simpler if you buy it. I know that sometimes the price of these, it makes it tough to do that, or you figure, I'll just buy it online next year or something. Well, the bigger the building is, especially like the Carnival Pieces, they're not going to have a long run. You're just much simpler, better off to buy it when you see it. Then you don't have to worry about if something gets retired, right? I know that sounds simple, but I've done it myself too. I put off buying a building only to wait later and then kind of have to get hosed on it when I could have just bought it at Michael's or on an online retailer for cheaper. So I guess that's kind of the point here, right? If you see something you like, buy it. Department 56 as well. They do short runs a lot of times, especially their gift sets like this Harvest set, the Apple Barn this year, which you're going to see a review on this channel soon. They did the Harvest Gazebo. I know that one has become really popular, and they're doing like one building a year and it's immediately retired. There are other buildings too. Department 56 is kind of tricky because a lot of the buildings were just lower production run, or they're just harder to find out there. But just in general, you can do the same thing. I kind of mentioned in my last video, my last kind of guide video. Call around to dealers that you see. Just because someone is a dealer doesn't mean they've sold out of everything that they've had that's old. A lot of times the Department 56 dealers, some of them are gift shops, or they're not really into the online space, so they might have really nice stuff that's been retired for a long time just sitting there on the shelves, to where you can get retail or less than retail price for something that on eBay fetches a ton of money. So yeah, guys, I know I'm kind of just rambling around here. These guide videos like this where I'm just talking, it's just kind of be more of a free-form conversation to this. But yeah, I just don't be taken advantage of online, I guess is what I'm getting at. There are a lot of people that try and price gouge with these things, and it's really not necessary. And if you kind of do your homework a little bit, you don't have to be ripped off. You can get a lot of good pieces for a fair price. Now, again, don't go expecting to get like the Wild Pumpkins ride from Lemax for $50. That's not going to happen most likely, and if it does, more power to you. That's a carnival ride, by the way, a rare carnival ride that fetches a high price. But good deals are out there. You just don't have to be hosed by somebody. And I would really, really think twice. If that price gets north of $200, you really got to know what you're buying, at least in my opinion. So again, feel free. Send me an email, spookyvillages@gmail.com, or just comment below on this video or whatever video. I'd be happy to take a second and be like, yeah, maybe you should think twice on that, maybe not. And again, I'm not an appraiser. I'm doing it. Think of it as a friend, right? A friendly gesture. Just because I've seen too much of it going on, especially this year. I don't know what it is, but around this time, the filming of this is early June. That's kind of when all the gears really start turning in our heads. If you the village and scene, because we're getting ready to build in August or September, so we're acquiring stuff now. So just this time of year, man, I've seen a lot of funkiness with price. So yeah, guys, just consider this a PSA. Just collect smart out there. So all right, guys, hey, I will be back next week. We are going Department 56. I don't know what building I'm going to do first, actually, from Department 56 here. I've got 3 of them I'm going to do this year, but it's going to be one of them. How about that? So all right, guys, hey, I will see you guys very soon. Until then, take care.